right, guys, welcome to Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's kind of like that warm, cool, warm, cool. It's warm, more warm than not, which is great. But let's get right into our headlines, shall we? All right, first one we have is the chef of London's most controversial restaurant goes on the record. Love the Swedish chef. Next up, cross-eyed tabby cat with tiny little mews needs to be protected at all cost. Yeah, because that's like the next meme cat. You know, there's the angry cat. This is gonna be like the next meme cat. I'm not exactly sure what for, but because I'm not into the memes. I mean, I love memes, don't get me wrong, but I'm not that funny. Next up, we have how to freeze your grilled cheese sandwiches for the ultimate meal prep. All right, you guys know me and grilled cheese. I'm not about to say you should freeze your grilled cheese. First of all, why are you making that many that you need to freeze a few anyway? That's a lot. That was a terrible card. It should fly better. Let's try that again. Don't freeze your grilled cheese. Just make one, eat one, or make two, eat two, and leave it there. All right, moving right along. All right, very good. Lots of cool stuff going on. I know you guys enjoyed the 48-hour film contest movies yesterday. Yes, congratulations to Alana is in store. She did a very good job. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy times here in the building trying to get everything going and figuring it out and whatnot. The premiere itself was pretty awesome. It was pretty cool. The theater, the State Theater downtown, it was sold out. For second year in a row, it's sold out. So good job on them. And thank you to them very much for putting in the IDD category. Yeah, very cool. So we're looking forward to doing it again next year. Tomorrow, Thursday, we'll watch our Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge movie that was submitted and went live last Saturday on the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge Facebook page and YouTube page, where they're starting to do the campaign for it, and then they're going to do the judging for it. I think we find out who the winner was sometime in May 9th or something like that. We'll keep you guys updated. But anyway, we'll watch that tomorrow. It's pretty cool, and go from there. Here is, well, in order to see what here is, we got to go first back in the bearded past with Zach.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's April 16th, Wednesday. We got Barbecue Friday coming up this week. Easter's right around the corner, and April's just about done. It's pretty wild, man. So we're going to start, and we're going to go back to the bearded past with Zach. Today in history, for all you Civil War fans out there. I know none of you are. I'm the only one, right? So this day in history, in 1863, during the American Civil War, you had, it's during the Vicksburg campaign, okay? And so we're in April. The Vicksburg campaign wrapped up July 4th of 1863. So what this move was to get gunboats down on the southern end of the Mississippi so they could start landing parties. So that's essentially what happened today. David Dixon Porter run downriver past Confederate artillery batteries of Vicksburg. The way was to get down there so they could attack the fort, essentially put it under siege from all sides, and eventually just basically starve them out. And that's what they did. They eventually did do that. Also on this day in history, in 1917, Russian Revolution. Vladimir Lenin returns from Petrograd, Russia, from exile in Switzerland. Leningrad, before he did this and got this whole revolution thing going, and then became part of the power there in Russia after the Tsar, Yeah, he had been exiled a couple of times. He'd been arrested a couple of times. He had been hiding in Germany during World War One. He wasn't allowed in this area. Lenin's family had had issues with some of the previous czars, and one of his brothers actually was killed for an assassination attempt earlier in the year. So Lenin was kind of, he had to stay definitely down undercover. So what happened was he got caught, he got exiled, and then when the Russians came out of World War One, it was just ripe for revolution. He essentially just snuck back into the country, and from there, Russia changed. I mean, the world changed, actually. Also, too, on this day in history, we have 1945. The Red Army, so April 16th, the Red Army of 1945 begins the final assault on German forces around Berlin. So the Battle of Berlin. It was nearly 1 million troops fighting in the Battle of the Seelow Heights, also part of the Battle of Berlin. 1 million troops. And you got to understand, at this point, the people of Germany were so scared of what the Russians were going to do, not only to the soldiers, but to the civilians, to the children, that they fought fanatically to keep the Russians out. And the Russians fought fanatically to take Berlin because the German people, unfortunately, didn't realize what the German army did to the civilians and stuff in Russia when they invaded Russia in 1941. So, really horrendous stories. If you want to read more on it, the Russians eventually did take it over. And the Russians did eventually, you'll see there's a famous picture of Russians putting the flag up on top of the Reichstag, I think, building. It is a staged photo, just so you know, but it's a famous photo. They have it up there. But yeah, very, very, very hard fighting. Essentially what happened, this is when Hitler killed himself in his bunker because he wasn't even going to face what he kind of deserved. Not kind of, like did deserve. Also, too, 1972, the Apollo program, the Apollo 16, launches from Cape Canaveral, Florida today. And then, as well, you have U.S. civil rights leader in 1963. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. writes his open letter from Birmingham jail, sometimes known as "The is Your Brother," while incarcerated in Birmingham, Alabama, for protesting against segregation. Hopefully, a lot of you guys know who Martin Luther King is and his impact on the civil rights movement. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with today is going to be, just a reminder, 2016, not too long ago, Ecuador's worst earthquake in nearly in 40 years. It killed 676, injures more than 230,000 people. It's amazing to this day, to me, what Mother Nature can do. I mean, we can do as much as we want. We can build as much as we want. We can try to make everything as perfect as we want. And Mother Nature, when it says it's time to do something, it's time to do something. And I don't know, it's scary, but it's also very neat and I know very amazing to me as well. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of the history today. Obviously, there's a heck of a lot more on. Check it out, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy, and happy Easter coming up to y'all. Bye now.
Very good. Welcome back, Zach. Next up, Weird Laws with Alex. We love this one.
Welcome back to another Weird Laws, everyone. So, if you missed last week was about honking horns at a Subway shop. Now, let's see what today's Weird Law is. Prepare to laugh off, everybody. It's illegal to let your donkey sleep in a bathtub. What is this? It exists in Arizona, and it started in the year of 1924. So let me give you a little backstory, please. A century ago, a ranch owner's donkey has gotten used to sleeping in a bathtub. But unfortunately, a local dam broke and the house began to flood, and the bathtub floated away with a donkey in it. What? What kind of law is that? So that's gonna do it for weird laws. Arrivederci.
All right, look, things were just different in 1924. I guess, you know, I don't know why we needed to make a law over one donkey floating away. I mean, poor donkey. He probably made it out of the bathtub eventually and, you know, made it, but we had to make a whole law over one donkey in the bathtub. Come on now. I mean, how often is this happening that we had to go through the process and the cost of making a law for no donkey sleeping in the bathtub? And besides, if you don't live near a dam, doesn't matter that your donkey's sleeping in the bathtub. I mean, if I had a donkey, I guess I am in like a 1,000-year floodplain, but still, if you live high in the mountains and it's not gonna flood and you have a donkey and they wanna sleep in the bathtub, let them sleep in the bathtub. It's okay. I think it's gonna be okay. Weird laws. That is probably one of the weirdest I've ever heard. Just because they made a law for one thing that happened one time, freak accident, made a law about it, crazy. Now we're moving on to the question of the day. Is this right here?
If you could be a Marvel character, which one would you be?
Iron Man.
If you could be a Marvel character, which would you be?
Spider-Man.
If you could be a Marvel character, which would you be?
Spider-Man?
Which would you be?
Probably Spider-Man, or Batman.
Alright, which would you be?
I would be Iron Man. As part of Marvel Comics too.
Which would you be?
I would be Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer.
Which would you be? Superhero.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Nicholas. What are you doing? If you were a Marvel character, which would you be?
Iron Man.
If you could be a Marvel character, which would you be?
Good question. Well, that's gonna be tough. I'm probably gonna have to pick Iron Man.
Which Marvel character would I be? Gosh, there's so many that I don't even know. There's probably some cooler ones I would think of, but probably I think Thor would be interesting because Thor gets to travel a lot, and that's pretty cool. A lot of other ones are just stuck either here or there. They get to travel a lot, but that guy gets to travel all over the place all the time, and he's got this cool way of doing it with the hammer or whatever and the dude and that bridge they got. He gets to go all over the place. That would be pretty cool. So traveling would be cool. So Thor for the travel. That's who I would pick. Next up, we have our ASL. No, we don't have our ASL. We have our firewood frog ASL phrase of the day.
ASL word of the day is hat. So it's like a word of a hat like this, and then just hat, and you put it down. これを need to wash that dirty hat.
All right, I think I got that one pretty easy. Hat. Look, I can do it both ways.
Oh, Your Highness, I'm sure it's not that noticeable. Bald!
Oh, sorry, it's a little bright. Sorry. Hat, yeah, even without it. Hat, yeah. That's it for the firewood frog ASL phrase of the day. Yes, no motorcycle riding with hot dogs. All right, next up we have the Did You Know This?
Did you know a group of goldfish is called a troubling? That's pretty interesting, how you can eat goldfish and get in trouble at the same time.
All right, a group of goldfish is a troubling. That's very, as just put, troubling. That they would call it troubling. Is it troubling because there can't be a school of goldfish? It's a school of fish. How can it be? Why would they give there's already a name for a group of fish. It's called a school. It doesn't matter if it's tuna. It doesn't matter what type of fish it is. It's a school of fish. Why did they have to give the goldfish their own? That seems ridiculous. That's not fair to all the other fish. How do they feel about it? It's not fair. That's why it's troubling. That is exactly why it's troubling. I get it now. No, I don't. All right, that's it for Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday. Remember, tomorrow we're watching the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge movie that we entered. We'll do that. It's a short film, another short film, but it's pretty cool. So we'll do that tomorrow. And have a great Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you Friday on the morning routine. Take care.